Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome to the Sports Cage, Saskatchewan, like you said, for our friends at Saskatchewan Lotteries. I have an update, actually, from Saskatchewan Lotteries about the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Scratch and Win that I'll throw out before we get into what's coming up in the show. Neither of the $75,000 prizes have been won. Those are still out there if you're fishing for $75K. Also, when it comes to the big prizes, the 10 years of season tickets hasn't been won. And I think at last check, neither of the sweet experiences have been won. A lot of jerseys, a lot of money going back, things like that. But the big prizes are still out there. So buy your Saskatchewan Rough Riders scratch ticket anywhere at your lotto spot retailer for Saskatchewan Lotteries. The money stays here, goes in, supports over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups in Saskatchewan. Thank you for making time today on this Tuesday. Curtis is rolling with me. Here is how the next 3 hours will shape up. We're going to hear from the Riders, Juju Hughes. We're going to hear from Trevor Harris. We are going to talk World Cup, as you don't have to be a soccer fan or a football fan to appreciate what happened yesterday at the World Cup and what is going on at the World Cup, because I don't know the first thing about soccer. I'm still trying to figure out the offside thing. It's wildness going on there. We have giveaways today. Monsters and Mayhem. You get to ride in a monster truck. We're giving that opportunity for not your buddy's jacked up half ton with the things hanging off the back that he possibly has white sunglasses. No, this is a real monster truck and tickets to Monsters and Mayhem. So that is coming up. It's Pump Jack Cathedral Trivia Day. Curtis has the question today, and I love it. It's some fantastic research done by Curtis. It's his first attempt to go with the Pump Jacks Cathedral trivia, and then also pick the score at some point. But pick the score might be a little different today. We might roll it a little different. So lots of winning going on. As for guests on the Western Pizza guest hotline, more than pizza, ribs, wings, Greek favorites, souvlaki, lasagna. Don't sleep on the lasagna. Joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline today, Rob Vanstone, in about 8 minutes time. We'll talk to Rob Vanstone about things Riders. We're also going to talk to Rob Vanstone. We got some sad news. I got it yesterday. It was released yesterday. It was released this morning, sorry. Former Regina Pat, former Chicago Blackhawk, Philadelphia Flyer, Los Angeles King, Anaheim Duck, Kyle Calder, passing away at the age of 47. We'll talk to Rob quickly about that. And then also in hour one, we're going to be joined by Brent Parker, former general manager of the Regina Pats. Of course, his family owned the team when Kyle played. I'm sure Brent will have a number of stories about the man they called Grease on that. So some tough news in the hockey community there. We'll touch on that. Hour two, Arash Madani jumps in coast-to-coast style for Brian Gawley, Smart Investing Solutions. Clutch performer, more from the Riders. That is when we'll have Pump Jacks Cathedral trivia. We'll do Sprinkle of the Day. Hour three, Glen Suitor. Let's get into the rule changes. Did anyone really know what was going on Saturday with the rouge and the rule changes? We were all so confused. People were confused. Let's ask Glen what he thinks about, because I know Tegan and some of our listeners, I went through the text line yesterday, got into the to the rule changes. Jalen Johnson, Rider receiver, we're going to hear from him in hour three. and a whole lot more. That is the show for Saskatchewan Lotteries. You do participate. Regulars, I want to hear from you. I know I met some of you today or on the weekend. Tailgating. 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street. I've been talking about it. They got robots that can cut your lawn. That's where we are in a society in 2026, and Prairie Land Rentals is on the cutting edge of it. Go in there, say, what's these Husqvarna robots that can cut my lawn? They have them. And if you still want to tug a mower around or you want a zero turn, they got that. And then if you don't want to buy your lawn and garden, if you got a project, they can rent you darn near anything out there. So I know a lot of people doing projects. A lot of people still in the city need to cut their lawns. So maybe go and rent one from Prairie Land Rentals. Don't be a skid. Cut your lawn. Getting t-shirts made. You like that one, Curtis, eh? Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about riders. Trevor Harris today, it came out. He's the player of the week. Week 2. Why not? 40 years old. 40 years old isn't that old. Have you seen the guy? He's in fantastic shape. Makes all of us 40-somethings look awful. 30 of 36, 83% completion rating. Threw for 417 week 1. Take a seat, BC Lions. So he's the player of the week. I like it. Out of the gun. Man, that offense looked good, especially early. He had time, the offensive line. He's going through his reads, his looks. I know Darian was talking about that yesterday with Tegan. You don't have to be a football expert to know. He was dialed, as the kids say, on Saturday. See what happens. See what happens in Calgary. I'm calling it all week the Jeffrey Bowl in Calgary. That's what we're calling it. Our friend Jeffrey, who texts in so many of you want to meet Jeffrey in Calgary. I don't think he's going to meet any of you. I appreciate Jeffrey's candor and jumping in on the text line. So yeah, we got the Jeffrey Bowl in Calgary. We need to beat Calgary. We haven't beat Calgary in a long time. It doesn't matter when you hoist the cup and you get a banner raising and you got a sweet ring, but we still want to beat Calgary. When do we go there twice? I have a schedule in my papers here that I printed off. Calgary, Saskatchewan. Some of you hardos out there know like right off that yes, no, we don't, Barney. No, we don't. This is our only trip to Calgary. We obviously went there for the preseason. That's too bad. If we would have played there later in the year, might have went out there. Take the clubs. That's what Luke Mollender's doing. He's got a tea time Friday. We're trying to figure out when he's going to jump on the show. But we got to be Calgary. Can I just quickly... What? We want to go to break? I want to talk about... Just give me a minute and a half here. To talk about this Cape Verde. If I'm saying it wrong, sorry. You didn't know where the heck this place was until yesterday either. You don't have to be a soccer fan, because I'm not, to appreciate what happened yesterday at the World Cup. Just sporting fan, okay? Just sports. Whatever your main go-to sport is, it would be like the number one team losing to whatever team is ranked 76 in your sport. Cape Verde tied Spain. Sorry, they didn't lose. They tied Spain in soccer. Spain's one of the favorites to win this whole thing. 0-0. Cape Verde, like 500,000 people. It's an island off the west coast of Africa. Found out today. I didn't know that until I looked it up, obviously. They're ranked number 76 in the world. Don't even know how they got in the World Cup. Spain's number 2. Like I said, they're one of the favorites. Spain held the ball for 74% of the game. Wow. And this tie is, in the soccer world, huge, obviously. But it's in the sporting world. I was trying to think like what it would be like we can't even put it into football terms. Like, because there isn't that many teams, right? Like hockey, I don't know, maybe. Canada's kind of, unfortunately, number 2 in the world in hockey after this year. So maybe it'd be like Canada losing to, I don't know, who's 76. Look up Canada if you can, Curtis. World Canada, I don't know, Botswana. I don't know. But Canada tying a team that's ranked 76. This World Cup thing, I might have to start paying attention. And someone said if you would have parlayed all those results yesterday, the 3 results that happened yesterday, if you would have parlayed them on like a $10 ticket, you would have won like 76 grand. And somebody, I read, put down $1 million on Spain to beat Cape Verde. They would have won 85 grand on $1 million bet. That's not a good investment. But they lost because there was a tie. I'm going to put down a schmill to win 85. Talk about egg on your face there. It's wild how this team pulled out. And the goaltender's 40 years old, and he basically plays in like a senior men's league. Now he's in the World Cup tying Spain. Love it. Love sport. I love sport. Okay. It's break time. First break of the day. When we come back, might have some giveaways, but we're going to have Rob Vanstone, rider historian, joining us. It's a Sports Cage for Saskatchewan Lotteries on this Tuesday. We'll be right back. Okay. Monsters and Mayhem coming up July 17th to 19th at Kings Park Speedway. Up for grabs, 4 tickets and a ride for 4 in a monster truck. They got like one of those back cabs. How are you going to get 4 people in one of those? Are you going to be like, you know, guy with girl on the bench seat, half ton, arm around her? I saw that the other day, actually. It's kind of cool. That's old school. You want to remember that. So we have 4 tickets, a ride in a monster truck. Keyword, you got to type in this keyword, just the keyword. That's it. Mayhem. Mayhem. It's one of those tricky words. I don't know if I would have spelled it correctly, to be honest with you, off the get-go. So just Mayhem. If you want to go 17th to 19th, King Park Speedway, Monsters and Mayhem. Grand prize winner will be announced this Friday on the cage. Woohoo. Get to do that, okay? So I'll mention that again later. Western pizza tonight. Why wouldn't a guy or girl? Lasagna, spaghetti, meatballs, all the good stuff. Maybe just a salad. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Rider historian joining us, Rob Vanstone. Usually comes into the studio with his dog Candy, but today it looks like he's at Mosaic Stadium with a chapeau on. Rob, first, before we get to the riders, I want to ask you, because I would think you would have covered them with your time at the Leader Post. Kyle Calder. Tough news, you know, hockey for the hockey community, losing him at 47 years old. What do you remember about Kyle Calder and covering Calder with the Pats?
Yeah, he was a rookie in 95, 96 with the Pats, and I covered him right out of the gate in the Western Hockey League. Spent the last fraction of his WHL career with Kamloops after a trade was made. Kamloops was gearing up, and it actually is the impetus for my favorite Kyle Calder story. I used to freelance for the Hockey News, and I can't remember which Kamloops player it was, but I wanted to feature a Kamloops player in the Hockey News. And so I'd put in a request for an interview, and I got the call, and I'd never talked to this Kamloops player before. So every answer is like 2 words or ridiculing my question, or I'm thinking, what on earth is going on here? All of a sudden I hear this cracking up, and it was Kyle Calder pretending to be the player that I was supposed to talk to. And we had a great laugh. He was really a funny guy and a terrific player. And he look what he went on to do in the Western Hockey League and in the National Hockey League. And only 47 years old. It is really sad, especially when you think I remember these guys when they were teenagers. It's so untimely and so sad.
And to play in the league back then at 16, just turning 16, Rob, like, that was different hockey. It's not like jumping into the league now, which is still hard. You got to be fast for sure. Back then, it was kind of man's hockey still in those mid-90s. And
back then it was tougher as a smaller guy, and Kyle wasn't 6'3" and 210 pounds, but he was so clever and so crafty, and I remember him and Brett Lysak, they were masterful at keep away. And the opposition just could not get the puck. They would get the cycle going, and Kyle would be just wriggling himself out of trouble in the corners. He was absolutely masterful. It's like he was made out of rubber, and just such a smart player, such a resourceful player, such a skilled player. And I remember he was just always up for a laugh, and I enjoyed him as a person as much as I did watching him as a player.
Some kind words, yeah. Like you said, just 47 years old. Shifting gears here, Rob, to the Riders. Come out of the gate 1-0. First off, had a chance to see you at the tailgate. Was it what you expected?
Yeah, it was really cool. I really didn't know what to expect because there was no precedent for it here. I'd been tailgating before John Ryan's first NFL game. And in Green Bay in September of 2006, I went tailgating at Lambeau, and went down to a University of Montana Grizzlies game in 2015, and tailgated before that. And if you want to raise the average age, go into a college tailgate at 52 years of age. It's like he might be one of the profs, but he doesn't look smart enough to be a prof. What's he doing here? And it was so cool to just see how Rider Nation did it. And I really enjoyed looking at the names and all the backs of the jerseys. There's lots of Schaefer Baker, there's lots of Emilus, there was lots of Harris, but yet you had players going back generations. There was a Dave Ridgway, there was a Joey Walters, which made me very happy, etc. There was Ronnie and George, of course, but just the surnames on the jerseys for some reason was really cool. I think next time I do a story on the tailgating, I think I'm just going to get players to tell stories, or the attendees to tell stories about why they have that jersey. I think it's the cross section of fans, and some fans were just there to eat. Some were there to enjoy every aspect of it. Some were there just to look around. You had all ages. I knew cornhole was popular. I walked through about 4 different cornhole games.
Right through the middle?
I don't think I endeared myself to any of the cornhole players. So maybe they were just throwing things at me out of general principle, which I can understand. But that was great fun. I'm looking forward to the next opportunity.
Love following you on Twitter and X, especially during the game, and just the stats and going back. First off, what can you tell us about Trevor Harris's day? Obviously, he wins Player of the Week honors, 417. Looked, just dissected that defense, especially early. Had time, which was key. What can you tell us about his day, where that ranks as far as quarterbacks and the Riders go?
Well, Trevor's kind of set the bar that he has to eclipse, which is really tough. I look at percentages, and I mean, this is someone who set a Grey Cup single game completion percentage record back in November, 85.2, which is another day at the office for Trevor Harris percentage wise. He was 30 for 36 on Saturday. There's only been one other game in Rider history where a quarterback has had a better completion percentage while completing 30 or more passes, and that was Cody Fajardo, 30 for 35 against BC in the season opener in 2021. And so when you look at the number of passes he threw and the completion percentage, that in itself is stunning. It is, the more you throw, the more I think the greater likelihood that the percentage might dip a little bit. Mm-hmm. But he was at 83.333 infinity and came out of the gate that way, and it just kept going. And you look, Trevor got Player of the Week. And that is some feat when you consider the general caliber of quarterbacking in the Canadian Football League, because all 6 quarterbacks who started this past week had tremendous numbers, tremendous games. And to be the best, or to be adjudged to be the best of that group when everybody was at such a high level, it really says something. And I just find it such a joy to watch Trevor Harris play. It's like a master class in quarterbacking every time he's out there. And And there's a lot more, a lot more class will be in session a lot more this year.
I was thinking too, and I was like, Sam Emilus touchdown. Okay, Sam Emilus touchdown again. Scored the first 2 touchdowns for the Riders. Where does that rank, maybe as far as, season openers or, first 2 TDs of the season kind of for the team?
Well, it's interesting. He's never had a 2 touchdown game in the Canadian Football League. He's either had 1 10 times or he's had 3 twice, but he's never had 2. And I find that kind of a cool little stat. There's a few precedents for scoring the first 2 touchdowns of the season, but to do it that quickly, that's when I want to go back and kind of rewind. You see, it happens from time to time, but to be there and we're nowhere near halftime yet, that's quite something. And the two games where Samuel Emilus has 3 touchdown receptions, he didn't get 100 yards in either one of them, which I find interesting. It's just very situational in terms of how they use them. And Kian Schaefer-Baker, 13 catches for 165. Keyshawn Johnson, 9 for 131. And then Sam was finishing off some drives in fine style. And that's what I really found interesting, is just a lot of the heavy lifting between the goal lines was done by Keyshawn Johnson and by Kian Schaefer-Baker. Although, Sam made a great catch to set up his own touchdown. He made a catch over the middle. I don't know how he made that catch over the middle. It was amazing concentration. But, yardage-wise, it wasn't one of his overwhelming games. Wait till those numbers start ascending.
Mm-hmm. I think the one you had too was first Rider player to score his team's first 2 TDs in a season opener since Corey Grant at Toronto, June 2003. I was probably watching that game for sure on TV, and I was like, man, of course, Rob. You probably know how those 2 touchdowns were scored by Grant back then, don't you?
The Riders' offense was getting nothing going, and all of a sudden, I think it was within a minute, back-to-back touchdowns, and including the winner. Corey Grant ran kind of a in route, going from right to left, and Nealon Green hit him in stride and went all the way for a touchdown. I remember watching that game, and most of my column was written. It was kind of like, well, this isn't a very good night for the Rough Riders. And then all of a sudden, Corey Grant back-to-back possessions, and it was within, I think both of them were within 2 or 3 minutes of the game ending, and just a really dramatic ending. This game totally changed, and so we've been waiting a while for that type of impact in a season opener. It's happened, I think, 6 or 7 times in Rider history. It happened a few times in the 50s. Ken Carpenter did it. Stan Williams did it. But it had been a while since the Corey Grant game in Toronto in 2003. We have interns here who weren't even alive then.
Yeah. Well, Curtis, when were you born? 98. Okay, Curtis was 5. Rob,
my bike was 3 at that point.
Rob Vanstone, Rider historian, joining us here on the Western Pizza guest hotline. It's not often my wife is impressed about something that she hears while listening to Dave and Luke in the game, and she's like, I think it was near the end of the game or in the post-game show, Antoine Brooks Jr. 13 tackles. Defensive tackles for the Riders, and she goes, did they just say it 13? And I was like, yeah, that jumped out at me. What a night for him, but still a few short of the Rider record.
Yeah, Reggie Hunt, July 10th. Well, here we go, 2003 again.
Yeah,
he had 16 tackles, and that stood as the league record until Simone Lawrence of Hamilton went one up on him and got 17 in 2009. So you don't see numbers like that too often. It's interesting though, because the tackles weren't an official stat in the CFL until the 1980s. So we don't know what Wayne Shaw would have done, or what kind of game Wally Dempsey had. But as I'm looking at it now, is Reggie Hunt at Winnipeg, 16 tackles, July 10th, 2003. And then Eddie Lowe had the other two 13 tackle games in 84 and 85. Played for Bear Bryant at the University of Alabama.
Alabama.
And then
Bear Bryant in Alberta.
You didn't know Bear Bryant was at the University of Alberta, did you?
He snuck in for 1 year. Oh, that's good. Are you going to Calgary?
No, I'm not. I'm staying here, and we'll enjoy the game with my beautiful dog Candy, who unfortunately isn't with us for this segment today. She's pretty disappointed. So
yeah, well, no anytime. She's always. Well, when's the last time the Riders have beaten Calgary?
When is the last time they beaten Calgary? It would have been that was the game that Reichwell Armstead went off for 200 and some yards. I think late September of 2024. And that was a catalyst game. The Riders had been 0-6-1. Then they went to Calgary, won 37-29, I think. And since then, beginning that night, and McMahon, the Riders have won 20 of 25 games that count. I'm excluding the one game at the end of the 2024 season that didn't have a bearing on anything. The two games at the end of last year that didn't, at the end of the regular season last year. So starting with that game in Calgary, Riders are on a 20-5 roll, counting regular season and playoffs when there's something to play for in terms of standings. 80% winning percentage.
Wow. Have you ever heard of the country Cape Verde?
No. But
are you watching the World
my
Cup?
life's pretty insular. I only learned about the continents a couple of days ago.
Are you
seven of them, Neil.
Are you watching any of the World Cup or paying attention to any of the World Cup?
No, I'm again, my existence is way too insular. I'm so obsessed with all things Rough Riders. I've even lost interest in the New York Mets, which generally doesn't happen, but this is a good year to lose interest in the Mets.
Yeah, good year to be a Knicks fan, not a Mets fan. Anyway, Cape Verde tied Spain yesterday 0-0. Spain's one of the favorites to win. Cape Verde came in ranked 76th in the world in soccer. Just a small 500,000 island off Africa's west coast. Their goalkeeper's 40 years old, basically plays men's league. Wow. And they tied Spain. It's quite a sports, accomplishment. I'm not following it at all. And then get this one. If this happened in the CFL, Tanzania lost 5-1 to Sweden in their first game at the World Cup. So they fired their coach after one game of the World Cup.
People thought it was when the Vegas Golden Knights made their coaching change late in the season, people thought that was my goodness. Actually, I was going to take geography in high school, but I couldn't find the classroom, so that explains everything. How's that for madcap comedy?
Oh, love it. All right, okay. Well, have fun this weekend listening to the game, obviously, with Candy, and then maybe we'll catch up next week, Rob.
Always look forward to it. Thanks so much, Barney. Great to chat. And now I'm going to check my globe.
West coast of Africa. Rider historian.
Alberta's next to us. I didn't know that.
Bear Bryant's old. He lived there apparently. Rider historian Rob Vanstone joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline here on this Tuesday. Lots of fun. Jeez, I put him on the spot there. I was like, when's the last time the Riders beat Calgary? I knew it was the 2024 season. I think he even gave us the date on that. All right. Still more to come. Again, don't forget, if you didn't catch it off the start of this little segment, Monsters and Mayhem coming up July 17th and 19th at Kings Park Speedway. We got 4 tickets and a ride in a monster truck today. We're giving them away every day. Today's keyword, just type in this keyword, Mayhem. M-A-Y-H-E-M. Mayhem to 936-6262. Probably help if I give you the number. Okay, so you get 4 tickets and a ride in a slick monster truck. Does it still have Bigfoot? Is Bigfoot still one of the monster trucks? Curtis says Bigfoot was cool back in the day. Okay, SportsCage, take a quick break here. We'll be right back. We're streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Welcome back. Saskatchewan Lottery's main fundraiser, sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan, and talked about this at the start. Neither of the $75,000 prizes have been won on the Rider Scratch ticket. So when you go into your Lotto Spot retailer, a couple $75K still in the mixer. there, and the big prizes too. The 10-year of season tickets and the suite packages available. So thanks to Saskatchewan Lotteries. Get out there, try and win that, and let us know if you do, if you're a SportsCage listener. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Again, we are joined by Brent Parker, former general manager. His family owned the Regina Pats. Brent, thanks for making time today. On a tough day, we talked yesterday over the phone. You gave me a heads up on this. We lose Kyle Calder at the young age of 47.
Yeah, it's too young. It's too young. You start certainly thinking back, and when he came in at 16, doesn't seem like that long ago, and obviously he's had a great career with us and in the Western League and World Juniors, and then and had a good run in the NHL. So yeah, real sad news. He was a real popular guy amongst everyone, fans, his teammates, and it's it was a sad day.
I was talking to Rob Vanstone in the segment before, and I said, knowing, I guess, how the game is played now, and how 16-year-olds are trying to make it in the Western League or trying to make it in the SJ or Junior A leagues, it's a skilled game. It's fast. You still got to be, tough. Back then, in the mid-'90s, you go back mid-'90s and then into that '80s, like to play in the league at 16, like Kyle did when he came in. Brent, you're a special player on a couple of different levels. You got to have that grease, right?
Well, and his nickname was aptly earned. There's no doubt about it. And I listened to the segment with Rob, and he was a hard guy to hit. He was in and out and greasy in the corners, and he was just one of those guys that, that year at camp. And I remember the conversation with his parents, trying to convince them that he'd be okay. He's fine. He doesn't ever seem to get hit, and he was smart and, really elusive, and was real confident he'd be fine. And we had some guys around that I, knew would take care of him. And it was a tough call for them to let him leave, small town of Manville, Alberta, to come to the big city. But it was, eventually they relented. I'm pretty sure he would have escaped anyways if they'd taken him home, and he probably would have found his way back anyway. But, and then of course, I think it was about 8 games into the season, I had to make another call to his parents, and that was a hard one because he blew out his shoulder. And the crazy thing about it he didn't even get hit. Dumped the puck in right in front of the benches, turned to go to the bench on a change. And we were playing Calgary and just collided with the guy. And our team doctor at the time said it was the worst separated shoulder he's ever seen. He could fit 3 fingers between the AC joint. And so in typical Kyle fashion, though, I went to the hospital after the game, and he was well sedated in his room and waiting for surgery in the morning. And I could hear sort of this giggling down the hall when it's going on. You kind of get down, walk to the light on, and turn into his room, and he's got the whole ward of nurses are in his room sitting on the edge of the bed, and he's got the meeting out of the palm of his hands, and he gives me that sly little wink of his, and Mr. Parker, they want me, he says. And I just shook my head and kind of figured I knew what I was going to be in for the next 4 years.
Oh, that what a great story. I look at his elite prospects, and after that injury, he bounces back a 17-year-old year. Darn near puts up a point a game. There's some good players on the roster as well, but it says a lot about a kid that at 16 can go through a massive injury like that and then kind of put it behind you and then get right back in and let's go and then perform.
Nothing intimidated him. Even in camp that year at 16, he played like a veteran. He just wasn't intimidated by things at all. And even when his experience with the World Junior team, he got cut from that team initially and came back to Regina. They had some injuries in camp and reached back out and said, "Hey, you know what? We might have made a mistake here. We're going to bring him back." I've never heard of that happening since. And he went back and ended up playing a huge role on that team in Winnipeg, and they ended up winning silver, I think, that year. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't bothered by anything. He had so much that chutzpah to him, you know. He just had that pizzazz, and was a likable kid, and just the energy around him that everybody gravitated to, and so it didn't surprise me he bounced back. You're always a little worried if a guy's going to be a bit timid after that, but didn't faze him one bit.
Brent Parker is joining us here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, sharing his memories of Kyle Calder, who we lose yesterday at the age of 47. Yeah, the World Juniors in Winnipeg. I remember, you know, just being a Saskatoon, being, you know, Sasky, and being like, you know, look at this guy out there from the Pats. I had no idea that he was a callback, the old Garth Butcher callback, and other Regina Pats that got it. The year that year you guys have, you know, you move him to Kamloops. Do you remember that? Can you go through it? Was obviously he would have been involved in it, giving him a chance to win a Memorial Cup?
Yeah, I mean, it was a year we were sort of trying to gear up for a couple of years down the road for 2001 when we were hosting the Cup, and we traded Brad Stewart to Calgary that year and Kyle Calder to Kamloops. Those were sort of the two teams that were fighting to try and win the league. And turns out they ended up playing each other, I think, in the league final that year. And both really good kids, and just an opportunity for them at that time to take a run at winning the championship. And I think, if I remember, I looked last night, and if I remember right, I think he was a point-a-game guy in the playoffs that year. I think they played 16 or 19 playoff games, and he was a point a game, which kind of was how he was. You sort of could count on him. And you know, Rob talked about him and Brett Lysak, the two of them together. I mean, as good a penalty killing duo as we've had in our time, and probably as good as any ones we've had since maybe a couple of years ago when Sam Steele and Austin Wagner were and Adam Brooks. Those three guys were kind of a force. But yeah, it was an opportunity for him to. And ironically, you know, a few years later when we hosted Memorial Cup, Kyle Frederick and him were really, really tight. They're both from kind of that same area. And talk about Mutt and Jeff. I mean, Freddie is 6'7" and 240, and Kyle's was 5. He said he was 6 feet, but I don't know what blocks he was standing on to say that. But he's about 5'9", 5'10", and I still remember when Barrett Jackman scored that goal to put us up with a few, 30, 40 seconds left, looking down where the alumni were sitting. And Calder was on Freddie's back, and Freddie was jumping up and down there like just a couple of kids, right? Just so excited and so happy. But it's one of those memories that's always from Memorial Cup that's always been ingrained in my mind, because you could just tell how excited they were for what was going on. And it was a nice feeling knowing, I think, that, the alumni was really proud of the organization again. And he was a big part of really resetting the bar when we got there.
You mentioned, he's 5'11" is what he's listed, and he carves out a pretty good NHL career too, right? Like with Chicago, Philly, Los Angeles. There's an Anaheim stop in there as well. Probably didn't surprise you with how you described him, that he figured out a way to get those NHL paychecks.
Yeah, he was just so tenacious, and figured it out. That's just kind of a really good way to put it. You just knew he was going to play, and he was going to be endearing to his coaches, and not the biggest guy, and yet was really good on face-offs, and yet just had those good hands and those good instincts. And I know instantly fell into good favor with Rich Preston, who was coaching us at the time. And Rich, it didn't matter to Rich if you were 16 or 20. If you earned his trust, you got his trust, and he didn't care what age you were. And Kyle was quick to earn the coach's trust just because he paid attention to all those little details. And he was a bit of a handful at times off the ice. He liked to have his fun, but that whole group did. That was by far the closest group of kids that we had. And I ran into Shane Lanigan at a midget game here, or I guess under 18. I'm still old habits, under 18 game a while back, and he was telling me about the group chat that those guys all still have together. The Curtis Tipplers and Boyd Kane and Shane Lanigan and Kyle and Derek Morris and all of those guys that played together. They've all stayed in touch and remained really close friends. And that's really a unique thing I don't think you see as much of today. And Kyle was a big part of that. He was kind of one of those glue guys that everyone loved to be around.
I got to tell you, you have kids, and a lot of people out there are listening as well. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I get teary-eyed today when I'm going through Instagram and I see the post that Kyle's daughter put on there. And if that doesn't hit you in the feels, right, and just the dad he was, nobody's, you can't even put that into words. And for you, Brent, the one thing that people don't probably get, you got to deal with it all as a GM and of a WHL team, of a hockey team. But you talk about, you bring these kids at 15, at 16, and if you're a parent, like, you're trusting this organization. So you guys have to be invested in this, and they do become family.
For sure. Yeah. They, to say they're just like your kids, I mean, that's obviously a bit of a reach, because no one will replace, your own, but gosh, I mean, I can't remember the number of parent-teacher interviews I went to, for kids that, their parents weren't here. So you're going to them. And, I talked earlier about having to convince Kyle's parents to let him stay and that we would look after him. And then, 3 weeks later, having to call them and say, hey, sorry, your son's in the hospital here. We got to have surgery in the morning. And so, yeah, I mean, those are really hard parts of it. It's the great parts about it too. I mean, then you're getting getting to watch them and their kids play, and getting, Christmas cards or wedding invites and those kind of things. But yeah, they're a huge part of your life. I mean, you spend a lot of time together. And so when you get a group of kids that was like that group in 95 through 98, that sort of group of kids, when you get a group that's that close, it really is special to be around. They were a fun group to be around, as much as they're a big part of why I lost all my hair. They were still a really good group and an enjoyable group. Probably my favorite teams in the entire time we had the team. But so yeah, when these kind of things happen, and gosh, unfortunately, I've been to too many of these funerals and had too many of these calls from former players, and it's never a very pleasant day. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, thanks for making some time today and sharing some great stories there, and kind of describing what Kyle was like. And just 47 years of old. Obviously, you think about his family and his kids at this time. Like I said, that post, it's hard not to tear up as a parent. So no
question. Yeah,
thanks.
It is. It's hard for sure. I appreciate you having me, and it's. I hope people remember him as fondly as I think his teammates and I do, and certainly condolences to all of them and the family. I've been talking to lots of them here the last 24 hours, and I know Ripper was it was a kick in the gut for him too. Those scouts, they hold those kids pretty close to their heart too. So hard on all of us.
Okay, thanks, Brent. Again, for doing this. Take care. Appreciate it. That's former general manager, family owned the Regina Pats, talking about Kyle Calder, who we lost yesterday at the age of 47. It is a Sports Cage. We will be back.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day, and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
Saskatchewan Roughrider QB Trevor Harris has been named the CFL's Week 2 Player of the Week. He chucked it around the yard, 31-27 win, obviously. 30-36, finish an impressive 83% completion rate, 417 yards in the till. Other news from the Riders today in practice: Roland Milligan Jr. not out at practice. Juju Hughes in at his spot. Hughes talking about how he prepares when you don't know when your opportunity may come.
It's always the goal, man. I'm ready to play week 1 if that was the case. That's just kind of where you get set at the time, but we go in every day ready to play. They prepare us like you're going to be playing that day, so it's no real change in preparation or anything like that. It's just the same thing. I'm next man up. I'm ready.
John Tortorella not back as head coach of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Off to Carolina to pick up his clothing. Western Canadian Baseball League. Berries are at the Red Sox tonight. 7:05 first pitch. Swift Currents in, Moose Jaw. Weyburn welcomes Medicine Hat. Blue Jays back in action. 4:45 on Boylston to take on the Red Sox. Soccer. It was France over Senegal. No upset there. And then Argentina, Algeria, defending champion Argentina, beginning their defense against Algeria at 6 p.m. SportsCage.com poll. How much of soccer's World Cup will you be watching? Vote. Let us know at SportsCage.com. It's for Reliance Heath. Rent a water heater, softener together, starting at only $1.20 a day. You also can get $400 cash back. Some conditions apply. Visit Reliance Heath. Hour 1 almost in the books. Some of your text messages coming in. Sorry I haven't read them. On Kyle Calder, Brennan saying the late 90s Pats team with Calder, Lysak, Jackman, and Holden. So much fun to watch. Thanks for the message, Brennan there. Roscoe, I have 2 Rider Nation tickets I'll be scratching tonight while my wife is at pickleball. Maybe one of them holds a surprise. Roscoe, yeah, for sure. Can't wait to explain to a family friend that is a big Bama fan that Bear Bryant was from Alberta instead of Fordyce, Arkansas. Wasn't from there. We slipped up thinking that he coached at the University of Alberta. Thanks for the message, though, from down in the United States of America. Speaking of that, did you see that UFC 250? We can talk about it in hour 2. Or not UFC 250, UFC with the celebration at the White House the other night. What a spectacle. Unreal. Okay, hour 1 in the books. We're going to come back. Arash Madani, more winning in hour 2 and rider audio from practice today. It is the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Welcome back on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Thanks for making time, listening to the program, whether it's on 620 CKRM, celebrating 100 years this year. Maybe it's on the audio streams, or you're watching through sportscage.com and our YouTube channel. Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation 50-50, Riders 50-50, early bird up for grabs. You got until Thursday at 10 p.m. Kananaskis Nordic Spa for 2. I'd be taking the golf clubs personally. 2 nights at the Pomeroy Kananaskis Mountain Lodge, 1-day hydrotherapy, or you can take $2,700 cash. Riders5050.ca. Again, early bird Thursday, June 18th. That's this Thursday at 10 p.m. Okay, we talked about it, that Roland Milligan Jr. was not on the field for the Riders today. Corey Mace, head coach Corey Mace, giving us an update on Roland Milligan's injury.
It might be a couple weeks for old Ro there, but that guy is a superhuman. So whatever the timeline is, that's for the average Joe. So I wouldn't put it past old Ro to be back sooner than expected.
But like we talked about, we got Juju Hughes ready to go. We heard from him in hour 1. Mace on what gives them confidence to move Juju into the defense.
Ball player, man. Ball player. He worked there throughout training camp. We moved him some other places as well. Man, hellacious college career. Obviously had some good plays at the pro level. We were happy as ever to finally get him to come to the green and white, and he's been as advertised for us.
We'll hear more from the Riders coming up in moments. Let's get it going. First time this week we get to talk to Arash Madani.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Cape Verde. I don't know how you say it. If you showed me the flag, I wouldn't know. Rob Vanstone looking at his globe currently. I didn't know where it was. What a story. What a sporting story, Arash. This is why we watch sports. This is why we sprinkle on sport. This is just everything about it. I love this story.
Well, I am sending Curtis a picture now. My cousin, I swear this is true, Barney. My cousin married a dude from Cape Verde. And basically, my cousin lives in Portugal. So many from that little island of population 525,000 have descended on Portugal. So yesterday, throughout downtown Lisbon, so many people are wearing Cape Verde jerseys throughout Portugal. You know, nobody expected against a superpower like Spain they're going to get a result. Like, this is, I'm trying to like put this into context. The country's population is a third the size of Calgary. And Spain, who won the World Cup in 2010, you know, you think about the great powers in any kind of sport, Spain and soccer right there. This little nation gets a result with a 40-year-old goalkeeper.
Which was he was basically playing like senior men's.
He wasn't even involved in the qualification process. He had 50,000 Instagram followers going into the match. He has 8 million followers right now, which is 2.5 million more than Canada's Alphonso Davies. A dude who was named after a Brazilian like left back. It's all incredible. It's the Miracle on Ice version. There's my cousin Pifash, my cousin's husband Pifash, just rocking. And look what those says on the bottom of the jersey. For those listening on the radio, Cabo Verde number 10, but at the bottom of the jersey it just says no stress. They are just chilling on island time. And they get themselves the biggest result in the history of the country. The party must be amazing there right now.
Can we get this gig there? Can we?
Yes.
The no stress thing. Like, look at the weather. You can just tell the little corner there. The weather looks exactly what you would expect. And then how about this one? I want to. Is it Tanzania loses 5-1 to Sweden? So the only logical thing to do after your first game of the World Cup is you fire your coach.
Amazing, isn't it? And it was Tunisia, not Tanzania.
Oh, Tunisia. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
At home.
I'm learning about Cape Verde.
There you go. I mean, just you're basically Rand McNally Atlas over there, Barney. That's that's your seat. Like, what did you think was going to happen? I guess. I don't know if you saw today. France played Senegal. This is what's amazing. Like, Mbappe, one of the best players in the world. It's 2-0 France. It's injury time. Senegal scores a goal 5 minutes into like an 8-minute injury time. And the French coach is just losing it because, you know, goal differential matters. Mbappe looks over, kind of moving his hands up and down to calm him down. Off the kick. Goal Mbappe, goal France. Coach, I got this. We got the +2 goal differential. Don't you worry at all about it.
Yeah.
We're only a week into this thing, Barney.
I'm getting it. Like, look at Iraq and Norway are going. Where's this game? Looks like Foxborough. It is.
It is in Foxborough. Good eye.
I've been to that stadium numerous times. I can tell you exactly where the best cheesesteak is. Which concession. But yeah, it's cool. I'm getting into it. I haven't sprinkled on it yet, but that's only a matter of time. As for Canada, a tie with Herzegovina, Bosnia, which I always like that. I don't know. Curtis loves that I say it backwards. So we got Qatar on Thursday. Where does this rank in games of importance for Canada's men's soccer team historically?
The biggest.
Whoa.
The biggest. It's not even close. Because a win on Thursday over Qatar, and Barney, Canada punches its ticket into the knockout stage of the World Cup. Like, we're talking about a Canadian national men's soccer team, a program that had never gotten a point at the World Cup. 1986, they didn't score a goal in 3 matches. Qatar 2022, no wins, not even a tie. So first they get the draw, and now they play Qatar. And Barney, Qatar, yeah, they drew Switzerland. Qatar's not very good, and Canada's much better. And so now here you are in Vancouver with a chance at history. 1 match still remains next week against Switzerland. This puts you in the driver's seat to eliminate all the nonsense, to eliminate all the BS. And man, oh man, what an opportunity.
What about because isn't it Canada needs to finish first in the group stage to keep playing in Canada? And then
Yes.
is that Swiss game still going to be massive then?
It will, but
Yeah, okay.
you got to get through. You got to get through first.
Qatar.
You got to beat Qatar.
Not a very good team. Great airline. Not a very good team. Alphonso Davies wasn't in the opener against Bosnia. He's one of probably the only name that I know in Canadian soccer. Although that number 9 kid, what was his name? Starts with an L. They just put him in and he went and scored.
Kyle Laren.
Yeah. I'm a big Laren guy right now.
Big Laren guy. Big Laren guy.
Are we going to see Davies? What's the status with him?
So they are keeping this under lock and key, Barney. They are doing the gamesmanship thing, etc., etc. I am here to tell you and the SportsCage listeners and the viewers on the stream, I am assuring you that on Thursday, Alphonso Davies will get into game action for Canada at some point.
Ooh. Lock it.
I was told by a well-placed source last Thursday, that the plan was for Davies to get minutes against Qatar. At that point, they just expected Qatar to be the doormat of the group, that they'd come in with 0 points. That changed, obviously, when Qatar drew Switzerland. He was back practicing with the team finally today. They're not officially announcing anything. I'm telling you, it's happening. It's going to happen, etc., etc.
I'm not saying you got your sources. Okay, last thing on the World Cup I want to ask. There is a scenario where Canada could play the U.S. It just has to happen, doesn't it? There's a scenario that could happen, right?
So the scenario is that if Canada finishes 3rd in the group and USA wins its group, Canada could end up in Santa Clara. I'm just going to call it Levi Stadium. Our friends at FIFA will be very upset with me that I'm not calling it San Francisco, San Jose, Santa Clara, Bay Area Park.
Denim. Great denim.
Great denim. Canada finished 3rd. US finishes 1st. Knockout stage match, Canada versus USA. Right there around Canada Day. For all the marbles.
Ooh, that's my birthday. It'd be July 1st, I think. July 2nd is my pub crawl in Whitefish, Montana on my birthday with my family.
Ooh.
But I'll go back-to-back days. I'll take that one in at the Blue Moon in Columbia Falls.
So,
that'd be exciting.
So you need to wear your red and white if that scenario presents itself in Montana with all your American friends.
Possibly. I'll go.
Possibly.
We'll figure something out. Okay, let's go to CFL here. We got 2 weeks in. I got some of them that are friends that are just CFL, whatever. But you look at the quarterback play, over 2 weeks. You look at the scores and the parity in the league. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember a week where there's been better quarterback play all around. Helps, of course, that Ottawa was on a bye.
New Jersey's, though.
New Jersey's, though. Yeah, don't have a starter, don't have a backup, but New Jersey's. By the way, I checked the weather forecast. It's supposed to rain again in Ottawa this weekend. Oh my God.
No, I'm going there next Friday for my daughter's nationals, and I was looking at the forecast, and I'm just going carry-on guy, because we're just carry-on. I'm like, I don't want to have to take rain gear. Maybe I'll buy a cheap poncho and just leave it there.
There you go. Honestly, I was thinking about this earlier today. I don't know if there's been a better early season week of quarterback play across the board than what we just saw. You know, Davis Alexander put on a show. Everybody in Saskatchewan saw what Trevor did. You know, he and Rourke just dueling. I'm amazed at what we're seeing from Harris, from Collaros, and from Bo. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like age is nothing but a number. Now, granted, it's week 2. It's early in the season. Let's see how this thing evolves. But, man, I don't think that there's a better combination right now than the chemistry that Trevor Harris and Mark Mueller have. Like, you can just tell, Barney, watching, that these two are fully in lockstep, that Trevor has such a command of this offense. And the number 2 spot where you see that is in Hamilton. Year 2 of Bo Levi with Scott Milanovic. And the proof is in the pudding.
Davis Alexander, 441 yards. You mentioned him. But I think it was on your socials, there was somebody else that you wanted to single out for the Als.
Look, I know this is going to sound crazy. We got to start, and I get it's only week 2, but if this nonsense continues, Tyson Philpott is right there in the conversation for the CFL's Most Outstanding Player award. Like 193 in week 2. The catch he made against Hamilton in the end zone is one of the best I've seen. One of the most impossible, improbable, whatever you want to call it, that you're going to see. Those on the stream right now. I mean, it's just highway robbery what he was able to do.
Right off the guy's mullet.
269 receiving yards through 2 games. And he was able to keep all that hair gel. You know, that didn't even matter.
No. Jeez.
Philpott's playing at a ridiculous level. Okay. I get the Justin Rankin conversation. I get that the MOP is a quarterback trophy. But there's 2 skilled guys between Philpott and Rankin right now that need to be in the conversation.
I know it's only one game. I'm the first guy to say it's only one game. Just Chikai. But right. What about our boy here, Sam Emilus?
So it's interesting, Barney, because coming into the season, to me, one of the real questions for the Riders was the receiver position. You know, you lose 2 guys from your receiving core from last season, and you're saying to yourself, all right, what happens, especially when it's 2 Canadian receivers that you lose, one to retirement, one to suspension. Man, what a debut for Emilus. And I think there's a lot of relief now that, hold on, we have a home run hitter. We have a guy who can go climb the ladder to go get it. We have somebody who's explosive. We have somebody with a set of hands. We have ourselves our number 1 receiver. That's a relief. That's a relief when you consider what just left the building after last season.
We'll talk about this on Thursday. We'll tee it up more. But Saskatchewan hasn't beat Calgary in over a year. And I'm dubbing it the Jeffrey Bowl Saturday at McMahon Stadium. There's already guys on the chat group wanting to know what section and gate and ask it, and he's clueless as to why these guys would want to meet him at the gate. I love it, though. I love everything about it. I wish I could go. I'm coaching permit. I knew you'd like that. I haven't seen you walk away in a while and laugh.
The Jeffrey Bowl.
Curtis,
man,
sort of graphic.
Oh man, next time the Riders go to Calgary, let's take the SportsCage on the road to McMahon, and we'll do a round table. You, me, Sharky, Luke, and Jeffrey.
Jeffrey will need one of those. We'll have to borrow one of those things when President Trump goes to like a college game. That glass, or one of those Pope things that the Pope drives. But yeah, I would.
My sincerest hope is that Jeffrey won't fall asleep in the middle of the segment, though.
We don't go there again. I looked it up. It's like the next time we could be there would be the Grey Cup, which I'm all in.
Well, hey, there you go.
And do something there.
Think how pissed Jeffrey would be if the Riders are there, which means his Stampeders are not.
Yeah, I can't. I want that to happen. Just for the topic.
Look, you're the sales guy. The Jeffrey Bowl needs a sponsor. Brought to you by Butterball?
No.
Brought to you by Maple Leaf Foods?
Peter's driving.
Pete Curtis says Pete's driving. We get Pete's driving.
Pete's driving. There you go.
Free milkshakes for everybody. All right. Tunisia. You know who they should hire to coach the rest of this thread? Just give Torts a chance.
Just give Torts a chance.
See what he can do. World Cup soccer. Galvanize the club. Let's go.
You go left. You go right. Kick it hard.
Who's our best player? Let's go. I can't believe they fired their coach. You're the biggest tournament. You're one game in, and you're like, hey.
I'll tell you this, Barney. If Torts coached Tunisia, you know what we would never see? Anyone diving on the pitch.
Hard to watch. That's the only thing. Soccer fans out there, you guys got to get some sort of consortium together, or you got to figure it out. People can't watch that sport. Basketball was getting bad too.
Yeah, although I tell you what, Wemby's a dirty player, man. I didn't think I'd say it, but he is.
What do you? Before I let you go, what do you think about his no handshake? They're making lots of. I get it's the final. It's a bad look. He's young. He just walked off the court, didn't shake hands or anything. Pouty. And then his post-game interview was less to be desired.
So, game 1, you lead by 15, lose. So the Spurs, game 1 up by 15, game 2 up by 15, game 3 up by 15, game 4 up by 29, game 5 up by, I think, 12. And you lose the series in 5.
Oh. Is that coach back?
Yeah. It's just everything. The NCAA, back in the day when they tried to pretend they'd had rules, now everybody knows there are no rules. The NCAA would have called that a lack of institutional control.
High level. All right. Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday. We'll be back as we prepare for the Jeffrey Bowl.
The Jeffrey Bowl.
Talk to you Thursday. Coast to coast with Arash Madani.
No stress.
No stress. Brought to you by Brian Golly. Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call our guy. No stress. Call Brian Golly. Smart Investing Solutions. All right. Still to come. Rider Audio. Clutch Performer. Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. Curtis has the question today. A chance to win a gift card to Pump Jacks Cathedral and also Sprinkle of the Day. It's a SportsCage on 620 CKRM.
The SportsCage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
I wasn't here yesterday, so I'm going to go with, I don't think we have the videos on these either. I'm going to go with a couple of things that happened on the weekend-ish. If you saw it, the Wyndham Clark at the Canadian Open, putting on the Jack Hughes jersey at the one par 3, teeing off, and then making birdie. That might have been on Friday, actually. I love the sauce of that. And I know some people would have lost their minds. Other people would have saw the fun in it. And he got booed the rest of the weekend, obviously. So Wyndham Clark, love the Stones, love everything about that. Whoever's idea it was to host that UFC at the White House. If you haven't seen the pictures yet, go onto any social media, find a computer, go to an internet cafe, look them up. It's actually hard to believe that they had a UFC event on the front lawn of the White House. Politics aside, I can't judge after what's gone on here in my country for the last however many years, but go ahead, judge. I just thought it was wild. Hockey game, Parliament Hill? Yeah? I don't know. That was sick. And I think UFC fans would have been all over it. How did people get in? You had to buy tickets. What was the screening process like? I'm sure it was pretty intense. So there's a couple of clutch performers. Oh, the Ottawa jerseys too. I know we don't have video of that. The Ottawa released their new jerseys yesterday, the white ones, and it was well put together by the Red Blacks and all that. And then I was like the BC white jerseys. Okay, yeah. I'd hate to be calling the game. Those numbers would be hard to see. A lot like the Obsidian ones. And then Ottawa's white jerseys, and I was like, I think I've seen those on like hundreds of high school teams and college teams. They didn't do anything for me. Maybe they'll be cool. And then are the Riders coming out in a couple weeks with new ones?
Yeah, they're doing like the Prairie Blizzard ones. Like they teased it. They haven't shown what it is yet, but you can see like the logo is inverted, so it's like the white logo. So it seems like a lot of teams are doing the white jerseys.
Did they all go to a symposium this year? Did they go to some sort of conference and they all white was the new thing? And then
they all just shook hands. They said, "This is a good idea."
Yeah, it's like businesses. They go to like conferences, I find, and I've been in this industry for 29 years on all different sides of it. And it's like come back and then everyone's got the same idea to do something. It's like, or they read a book or watch a TED Talk and it's all of a sudden like hunters and gatherers. It's like you're in Saskatchewan. Give your head a shake.
Hey, there's no such thing as an original idea, Barney. Just an original approach. However, I don't think anyone's doing an original approach.
White. We're going white.
What if?
To bring back the silver pants, the retro.
Ooh. That'd be pretty good, actually. Silver pants. Maybe that's what it's going to be like. We don't know yet. Like I said, they just teased it. It was funny enough. I kind of got gaslit a little bit too when that first came out because they posted that I'm getting like deja vu right now. It's like clutch performer like last week. And it was on a Wednesday. And I was like, oh, they posted this on social media like 8 minutes ago. They're teasing a new uniform. And then like the text line came in and it's like, I think it's just their away uniform because it's Toronto. And it's like, but I swear that they're teasing a new uniform here. I just didn't have the picture ready to go, but yeah.
It's white.
It's white. It's white with green, not green with white or the logo's inverted. It's a white S.
The only thing that the Riders have sweet gear. Like the team store and what they've come up with, like there's some really nice stuff in there.
Yeah.
I really, really, really still want them to come up with the John Gregory sweater from the 89 Grey Cup. John Gregory, that sweater, they need to bring it back in a limited run.
1989 great. Oh, the other thing they were doing is they were going to do a 1966 retro jersey as well for one of the last games.
So I want to go with the 80 because the silver pants and not the greatest of looks, but
Yeah, it'll be different than their retro jerseys, though. It's the 1966 Grey Cup tribute uniforms. That's going to be against Montreal in week 20.
And then everyone has to go with only 1 bar or 2 bars on their helmet, like the old days.
Maybe. Or no helmet. Why not?
No masks, no visors. We're going at it old school. Clutch performer for Kellen Solar. Lumsden, Saskatchewan, family-run business. If you need solar, thinking solar for that livestock operation, you just get your cattle in the water anywhere, there you go. Or if you want to put it up in your house, cabin, farmyard, solar panel, save some money. Kellen Solar, again, local company, Lumsden, Saskatchewan, family owned. All right, back to the Riders. Trevor Harris, player of the week. Not a big deal. Take a seat. Everyone else, well deserving. There was a number of quarterbacks that were probably deserving of it this week. Let's be honest. Trevor Harris talked about, after practice today, how fun the mental game was on Saturday.
I can't remember a year where every team has very, very good quarterback play. It's, the elite rosters. There's a lot of continuity around the league in terms of keeping teams together, and I think that makes for a great brand of football. And that's why they're seeing such high-level football and games coming down to the last minute and such entertaining games, because it's great football being played, and it's going to be a tremendous year this year for the CFL in terms of competition and parity. And I anticipate the football to continue to get better and better, more physical, more fast, and guys to just continue to get more and more dialed as the year goes on.
That wasn't the right clip, but it was still a heck of a comment from Harris. That's all right. Did I ever tell you that I think mic flashes should be banned in all sports and all press game and everything? Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Because he's like, after a post game, like the Golden Knights, Stanley Cup, playoffs, Riders, Coach Mace, just one mic up there. Like, I remember in the beginning into the business, like a long time ago, it was like this game. It's like, make sure, like, it was global sports. Like, make sure you got it. It's like, what? Like, and then now people got them on their socks now, and then the big cheesy ones, and it's just like, yeah. And there was like, there was a skit back in the day where someone interviewed someone, and they had like a piece of dog on the mic. I think it was the Adam Carolla show, which Jimmy Kimmel was a part of, but now he's all high and mighty. Do you want to what do we got? While we figure out the Harris clips, can we go to Coach Mace? Because Antoine Brooks Jr., if you missed Rob Vanstone in hour 1, 13 defensive tackles on the weekend, on Saturday. My wife thought that was impressive. And then I was like, yeah, that kind of snuck up on us as well. Coach Mace talked about Antoine Brooks Jr. making the most of his chance to start.
He's been around for a while, so for him to be able to dissect and finally get an opportunity to showcase his skill set. There was a point last year where we knew he was a great player. We were trying to find ways. I mean, he was a running back for a week. You know what I mean? We were trying to find ways to, how can we get this kid on the roster for us? To his credit, he waited patiently. And it's not easy. There's a few guys throughout this league who had to wait a year, maybe 2 years before they got an opportunity, but they saw it through, it paid off. So for him to be able to, bide his time and be a great teammate, help the team and whatever his responsibilities were prior to this point. Now, it's the energy that he brings every day. He continues to do that. He'll be a pretty good player.
13. Rider record is 16.
16.
As Robbie Vanstone told us in hour 1. Back to the Trevor Harris. The one thing that I was watching the game earlier, and he was just dissecting BC, slinging it, going through like 1, 2, like 3 reads. But then it's like he's got time, right? He looked comfortable in the pocket. And he talked about his offensive line play on Saturday.
They're awesome, and they do a tremendous job. And when I tell them in the huddle, hey, I might need an extra click here, guys, they do. And, it's a fabulous offensive line. They've been great since the day that I've got here, and I'm super thankful for those guys up front. And they'll be getting some dinners this year. So,
I think we were all, our pants. though, when Jamarcus Hardrick went down.
Yeah. I was like, oh, not like this, man.
And
not
then and then all the players start doing the knee, and I'm like, whoa. No. Game 1? Like, look at all these guys. I think we were all like that, unless you're absolutely buckled in the stands and probably didn't see it and didn't, like, it was just a cramp, I guess. It looked like the big fella. That's, when they're all doing this, like, we're all like this. No. All right. Harris talking about what he expects in the Jeffrey Bowl this week.
Hold up. Sorry. One sec. I was moving clips around. All right. Now I'm ready. Feel free to throw to it again like a professional show.
What he expects against Calgary this week.
They're very good personnel-wise. They have a very, very good defensive line. Their linebackers are very active. They make plays at all levels of the field, and their DBs are all tied together with their front. They've got some great DBs too, and tons of respect for them. And we look forward to the challenge, and we know that they're going to bring things to the table that they haven't shown yet, and so will we. And it's going to be a heavyweight fight, and we're excited about it.
I love. Do you ever been to a game where players kick the ball or thrown a ball into the stands?
No, I haven't.
I don't think I have either. I was kind of thinking like all the NFL, you don't see it in college. CFL games, I'm like, there had to have been one. I love the old Taylor Field when they would kick, and I guess it was Hemorrhoid Hill, which I was never on. Every time we came down from Saskatoon, but the wood stands, I remember there, and then they'd kick the ball into there sometimes. But Sam Emilus scores that touchdown on Saturday. Mm-hmm. He punts the ball into the stands. Trevor Harris talked about why he wanted that ball back.
I wish we knew who it was. We should get him something. I'm saving Sam $500. Punting a ball into the stands is a $500 fine. And so I was trying to save him some money. And Ty and Gordy, people have no idea what goes into the ball prep that they do, the way that they prep those footballs. And so I was just hoping he would. And God love that fan. He tossed it right back down. It was good on him. I was really thankful he did. But yeah, just trying to save Sam some money. So maybe he should take me to dinner now.
Well, did they find out who Buddy was that threw it back down? That guy needs to go to dinner with them and maybe hook him up with an Emilus white Prairie Blit. No, what's it called?
Prairie Blizzard.
Prairie Blizzard jersey.
Yeah. It sounds like something you get from like DQ.
Yeah. Not a sponsor. Still love them though. But yeah, there's, man, $500. My dad used to tell me that there was some sort of fine for throwing or kicking the ball. This is like in the 80s. And I guess that's true.
Fine. Or I also think about like players getting like ejected too for like some of the misconduct stuff and whatnot. But yeah, fine's not great either. So get that ball back. Get that ball back.
I always wanted at the old Taylor Field too, for someone to punt it like right out. Like punt it onto that street and that old greenhouse that used to be behind. Punt it out of the stadium.
You know what? If Sam Emilus could do that, you think to yourself, maybe this guy needs a dual role on the roster. You know, maybe he's kicking field goals too while he's at it.
Wasn't he the backup kicker, or was he the backup to the backup to the backup? That's last year. Something rings a bell. Regardless, we learned that $500 fine. Kick it in. So hopefully Buddy's getting hooked up for throwing it back. That was a solid move. We are getting up to the clock. What do we got coming up here? Oh, Curtis is going to give you a chance to win $50 to Pump Jack's Cathedral Free House. When we come back, we're also going to have Sprinkle in the Day. Do you have any sprinkles that I should be aware of in this World Cup soccer? 936-6262, Prairie Line Rentals text line. We also got to get to some of your text messages. You guys have been active on there. We'll get to some of those in a bit. It is a Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Quickly out in the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner. If you want a robot cutting your lawn, they have those Husqvarna and deals on them right now. Craig in Regina, with a strong QB class, do we need upheaval changes in the league next year? I think he's talking about the rules and the fields and all that. Going to get into that with Glen Suitor in hour 3. So, Craig, we will. You might want to stay tuned for that. Elsewhere on the text line, a lot of people remembering the late 90s or the mid 90s Pats teams as we lose Kyle Calder yesterday at the age of 47. Roscoe, who I met on the weekend. Hey, Roscoe. In soccer, the refs have to start giving yellow cards for diving. You're onto something there. Leonard, what I remember from the UFC at the White House is a comment. Oh, I'm not going to finish reading that. That's just how it goes sometimes. But I get what you're saying. Oh, wait a minute. Bert sends in an image of the John Gregory sweater. Wait a minute. Did you just recently buy that, Bert? Or is that from like back in the day? What size is it and what do you want for it? Reply. DM me. Bert, that is sweet. Thanks for that. Dean. Oh, he's got a story. 1989. Bobby Jurison got an interception, threw the ball into the crowd, and I caught it. Years later, I was at the Plaza of Honor dinner when Jurison was being inducted and told him I caught it. He jokingly asked for it back because he said it cost him a few bucks. Dean in Regina. Good one. I wonder if it was the same back then. James is feisty on the text line. I'll say that. He would like to go to Calgary this weekend. I'll just leave it at that. You're quick. 936-6262. Anything on the YouTube chat? It's hard for me to read the YouTube chat. Oh, Gooch asked a while back how golf was. I was here Friday. Kind of went through it. I played all right. Made second flight, which was tough. Won my first match, lost my second match. Bugs are bad. Courses are minty. Bugs are bad in northern Saskatchewan if you're going up. Like, load up on things. I said that. The zappers, the foggers, long sleeves.
The spray.
The
classic spray. It can be sticky and smelly.
There's a new spray out there from a big place that supposedly doesn't have DEET that I used is actually really good. I'm going to try and get Mrs. S to buy me some of that. She buys this natural stuff and it smells really good and it actually works really good. I think it was made in Moose Jaw or something. But yeah, you need bug spray up north this year, where I was anyway. Keep the text messages coming. Okay, we are going to go to break. Do you want to give let's go to sprinkle of the day, quick.
Sprinkle of the day.
Okay, I have no idea what's going on in soccer, but I love it. Algeria, Argentina tonight. It's Argentina's the defending champs. They're really good at soccer. They just give money lines, or they give a tie at 370. Over under 2.5. I'm taking the over. And I'm going to parlay it with Jordan versus Austria. Oh, man. Jordan's a 7.7 on the pro line. So, obviously, they're not very good. I think... do we go under on that one? Let's play under. Everything's at sportselect.com. Get into it. U.S. Open's coming up starting Thursday. Oh, we'll talk that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Sportselect.com. You can make your picks online now. Generate a QR code. Scan it at your Lotto Spot retailer. There you go. Every bet is 100% legal. Must be 18 plus to play. Citronella candles will do nothing up north. FYI. Tried it. Nada. Those little coil things, actually smart. You put them on your rickshaw if you're going to walk in golf or on the cart. The coil thing's not bad, but still. You almost want to have a buddy that rips darts the whole round just for smoke to keep them away. Okay, Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia.
It's time for SportsCage Trivia for Pump Jacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
Love Pump Jacks Cathedral. Great spot. Okay, 936-6262. You called in. If you haven't won anything in the last 30 days on CKRM, here's your chance. $50 today. Curtis has the question.
So, who is the CFL all-time single-game record for defensive tackles?
Who holds the CFL record for defensive tackles in a single game?
If you're listening to Robbie Vanstone, he did say who, so...
936-6262. If you haven't won anything in the last 30 days, we'll go to break. We'll come back with hopefully a winner. It is a Sports Cage on CKRM.
It's time for Sports Cage Trivia for Pump Jacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
Okay, Pump Jacks, 13th and Albert. Lots of before a game, after a game, after work, before work, heck, go in. Lots of taps, great food. James is on the line, ready to play. Okay, the question, do you want me to read it, Curtis, or do you want you read it? You're being good.
All right, James, who is the CFL all-time single-game record for defensive tackles?
Simone Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
James, data boy. 17.
17. I was going to say 17. Yep.
Right on, right on. Are you going to Calgary this weekend?
I'm not, but I told you guys. I've told you a million times. I'm going to be there in November. So
that's right.
There you go.
Okay, James, thanks for playing. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for always texting. Appreciate you being a fan of the show.
Just great show, you guys. Great show always.
Thanks.
Yep.
Curtis is going to text you, so keep your phone handy for your information. We got to keep things moving. Thanks, James. James wins. Simone Lawrence, 17 sacks. All right, ticker time right now.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport is the home of the price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Rider quarterback Trevor Harris named CFL Week 2 Player of the Week after the 31-27 win over BC. 40-year-old pivot, 30 for 36, finishing with an impressive 83% completion rate, slinging it for 417 yards and 3 touchdowns. Former Regina Pat and NHLer Kyle Calder passed away yesterday at the age of 47. Calder also played in the NHL with Chicago and Los Angeles. John Tortorella will not return as coach of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Local hardball tonight. Red Sox hosting the Saskatoon Berries, 7:05 at Curry. Moose Jaw welcomes Swift Current, and Weyburn plays host to Medicine Hat. The Blue Jays are in Boston to take on the Red Sox, 4:45-ish first pitch. And we got Argentina, Algeria tonight in World Cup soccer. France did beat Senegal earlier today. It's for Extreme Hockey and Sport. Cooperator Center right now under renovation, so you can visit them at McIntyre Street or the new one, Temple Garden Center in Moose Jaw. Ask them about the new Bauer Flylight sticks that are in special colors, low kick construction for quick loading and release, stiff blade for maximum pop. Not only, but available at Extreme Hockey and Sport, 2 locations. Under new management, they're local, they support local. Extreme Hockey and Sport. Brian Raymond is with us right now from Flowing Springs Golf Course. I tell you, Brian, things are juicy out there. I talked to someone on the weekend that was out there playing. Things are great, and people, I'm sure, really just taking advantage of the specials.
Yes, well, they have, and it's when it was a great weekend. The course is in fantastic shape, as you mentioned. And, with our specials, it just makes it so easy to come out and play. Every day after 3 o'clock, it's only $40.50. After 6, it's $3. Mondays and Wednesdays, ladies and seniors. Senior rate here, or senior aid here is $60, $42 to come out and play the golf course. So it's just some great specials. And, of course, if you pay for a green fee right now, we will give you a $25 gift certificate towards our Skechers golf shoes.
Still on.
Deal. Yeah, we'll do that right until the end of July.
$25 to get some new kicks if you go play golf at Flowing Springs. The specials are great. It's in great shape. They got the driving range, real grass out there. Brian, we're going to talk again on Thursday, but if people are thinking, man, I got to get out there and play, best way to book a tee time?
All you have to do is give us a call. 306-543-5050. And you can book online at our website, flowingspringsgolf.com.
Okay, Brian. We'll talk on Thursday.
Sounds good.
There you go. Ooh, Flowing Spring. What deals? After 3, after 6, seniors, Mondays and Wednesdays, Flowing Springs Golf. Okay, we're up against the clock here. We are going to be back in hour 3 with Glen Suitor. Let's talk to him about rules and more from Rider Practice today, including Jalen Johnson sitting down with Dave Thomas. It's the Sports Cage. We're back after the news. Oh, if you've missed any of the program, don't worry. Got you covered. It's been a fun show. Rob Vanstone in hour 1, Rider historian. Brent Parker in talking about the loss of Kyle Calder, former owner of the Regina Pats and general manager. Arash Madani, we had some good laughs there. Heard from a lot of Trevor Harris today. Coach Mace. We still have a one-on-one with Jalen Johnson, receiver, and Dave Thomas still to come. Monsters and Mayhem VIP prize contest. Don't forget, July 17th, 19th at Kings Park Speedway. We're giving away 4 tickets today and a ride in a monster truck. Who doesn't want to ride in a monster truck? You looked up Bigfoot still. Curtis looked up Bigfoot still in play. It'd be small compared. There's guys that rip down Dudney that have like the Bigfoot now, the big jacked up truck guy. This is a real monster truck you get to ride in, though. Maybe they give you white sunglasses. Listen, this week, we got keywords every day, and we're giving the prize away on Friday. Today's keyword, just text this in to 936-6262. Just this word, mayhem. M-A-Y-H-E-M. If I see it on our text thing, that means you put it in wrong. If I don't, it goes into the system, and you're prompted. You get a chance to win, okay? So today's word, mayhem, we got that tomorrow too. Still got Pick the Score to win tickets to the next Rider game. Pick the Score. Probably going to take a call today, though. It's not going to be a text. We're going to switch things up. Still more to come on the Sports Cage. Let's go out, though, and it's that time for Freeze, Tom, and Lumber to talk to suits.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Rough Rider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Freeze, Tom and Lumber. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years in Regina and Fort Capel.
All right, Mr. Suitor. You walked through. I knew exactly how it was going to be. We were texting back and forth. You're like, okay, so Rod and I are going to come through the tailgate. And then I was like, you said, come get me or come by the truck, and I couldn't get all the way to the truck. So then you get your text that you're just walking that way. And I said to the guys at the Croft Electric tent, I said, I'm not going to see this guy for a while. And sure enough, you guys got stopped in row 1 and taking picture after picture after picture after picture. But it was great, though. It's a long time coming in Sasky, eh?
Oh, it wasn't ever great. I mean, and this is just game 1. So when you think about how this can build and grow and, you know, the cornhole matches that were going on and, you know, all of the, I really want to thank Rider fans. I mean, I've walked through a lot of the different tailgates. Calgary has a good one. Hamilton has a very good one. And the crowd in those tailgates are often very similar, right? They're just welcoming you. They want to offer you the hot dog or the smoky or the beer or whatever they have. And boy, did that happen in Regina. Rod and I, like, when we went through the first row there, the amount of offers, I swear, if someone would have said, here's a lawn chair, grab a seat, I might have actually had a sip of beer or two.
Why wouldn't a guy? That's the thing. A couple sips of beer ain't going to get you intoxicated.
No, of course not.
You were in the suits. You fellas were both in the suits, looking sharp, and I was like, you're probably lucky it wasn't another 5 degrees warmer, because on that pavement like that, that's going to be the other thing. People are going to up their game for sure after week 1, and they should for sure. I got to give a shout out. Duncan from Ituna had that Pilsner van, that old milk truck thing. What a setup. Solid there. And then beside us at Crofty's, Pauline, she wins the food of the day. She had pierogies. Pauline was frying up pierogies, and she offered them. I snuck one in early. Then she offered to the group, and a couple guys were saying, "Oh, I'm okay." I'm like, "You don't turn down a pierogi. It's like you go to jail. You go to jail for that in Sasky." But it was great.
And you know what, Barney? I just want to thank the fans there. And I know there were a bunch of fans as they were watching it all develop there with Rod and I walking through, that they were coming up and sort of apologizing first. Hey, sorry about this. Can I get a picture? And I just want the fans to know that is never wrong. I mean, honestly, I'm happy to spend a few minutes to say hi. I know Rod is as well. And taking a picture or the selfies or whatever, for sure, let's do it. Never feel bad about that. And in fact, thank you for coming up and saying hi, and there was so many compliments and stuff about the work, and that I really appreciate it. I kind of walked through there thinking, it is such a unique place to play football, and I walked out the other end, probably late for my meeting, but I walked out the other end thinking, I am really glad I played here. Now, I had a lot of people on social, or a couple people on social media, say that they saw pictures of me with the tailgate and assumed then I was completely cheering for the Riders through the game, and they were Lions fans. Oh, yeah. So that's so silly. But I did see a lot of those people do this when they saw the pictures. They would say, well, no question, Suitor was cheering for the Riders. However, when are we going to get it here in BC? Because there's a big parking lot right beside BC Place Stadium. So there's all of a sudden sort of a push from fans in Vancouver that are kind of hinting to Amar Doman, can we make this happen here? Because it looked like a ton of fun.
Oh, absolutely. You know what you should have done? Should have went back to your meeting late, and your producer with your tie tied around your head and slurring, and poked him in the chest and be like, you don't worry about it, you baloney. And it scared the living crap out of him.
I got it covered here, buddy.
I'm going on. Let's go, Riders. Okay, what's a rouge? What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. So the Lions messed up, basically. The BC Lions messed up. The Riders, if I remember all this correctly, the Riders have a 3-point lead, and they're kicking a field goal to make it 6, and they missed the field goal. And the Lions, who were playing with a backup in Berryhill, there was a backup returner. Because Seven McGee was injured early in the game, so he didn't return. So it was, I'll give him the break that he was not expecting to be a returner in the game, so therefore probably didn't know the nuance of the new rule. But here it is: if you miss a field goal and that ball hits the ground, bounces through the back of the end zone or the side, you do not get a point. Get the ball on the 40. If you kick and miss a field goal and the returner catches it and does not get out of the end zone, it's a single point. If he catches it and concedes or kneels down on one knee, it's a single point. They still get the ball out there, but they've given up a point. And the reason why it was a mistake is because it turned it from a 3-point game to a 4-point game, and they absolutely had to let that ball hit the turf. I'm guessing, and I haven't talked to the Buck Pierce yet about the decision, but I'm guessing the returner in Berryhill just didn't know the new rule change and thought it was a single point either way.
Okay, my question, and I think we kind of had this similar text, long convoluted text that came in. Field goals missed, end zone, because the end zone right now is a parking lot, it's 20 yards. It kind of spins and just sits there.
he has to play it.
Oh, wait, so you have to play it if it sits there.
Yeah, because here's what could happen. The kicker or the holder, whoever's behind the kick, could go and recover it.
I thought that's just with punts.
No, it's with punts as well. But you can go anybody behind it. So I'm almost certain you can. But it has to be played. And if it is blown dead and dies, then it's a single point because it stayed in bounds.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure anyone behind the kicker, because I remember years ago we were deliberately trying to miss a field goal with a whole group of receivers behind the kicker, behind Ridgeway, to try and cover it, and I don't think that has changed.
We don't see that much anymore. I love that old onside play where you keep the guy onside and you run. I think we tried to run that in high school, but we were just all a bunch of knuckleheads, and our coach, I could tell now because I'm coaching the same age group, and I was just like, we're just going to scrap this. This ain't going to work. But the one thing is, it's always been, and I love this about the CFL. Again, I remember watching with my dad back in the day, or probably in high school, where you could punt the ball, and if your punter races down and recovers it, when a guy's sitting there doing the 5-yard thing, hold, and then punter comes sliding in and scoops it up. I don't know when the last time I've seen that though in a CFL game.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. It's I don't remember if there was one last year, but I have seen it in recent memory. And they, they'll also put like a receiver or DB that circles behind the punter.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And then hustles down, and they try to pooch it into a corner, that kind of thing. So, there are nuances in this new rule change with the Rouge that teams and players are going to have to really go over, because that single point completely changed the strategy for the BC Lions. They now had to score a major to take the lead rather than kick a field goal and extend the game into overtime. And that changes a complete strategy. So it was an error in judgment by the returner and by the Lions, and they needed to be reminded of the new changes. And it matters in kickoffs too. Like if you kick it through the end zone and you were going to get a point in the old rules, now you don't, and it goes back to the 40-yard line, which is excellent field position. So there's going to be nuance here that I think teams for a while are going to kick it around a little bit. I know even up in the booth when I have a connection with the replay center, not directly with me, but with our producer, we can kind of check in real time. But we all can be studying the rule book to make sure we get the changes right.
For sure. Some people on the text line are saying, yes, it's happened, recovering the punter. It's like, yeah, we know that. We are saying, yes, we know. I'm just saying I haven't seen it in a number of years. But then again, I don't watch every CFL game front to back. So maybe it has happened. I like the putting the guy on side thing. And then next year with the goalpost being moved back. And
well, that'll eliminate it for the most part, because any missed field goal will be out of bounds. Yeah.
Okay, you're calling the game. Or before I forget, when's the next game in Saska you're doing?
I want to say July, because for family reasons, I won't be working this weekend coming up. But next weekend I'm in Kelowna for both those games back to back with the Lions. So I'll be Lions Calgary, Lions Edmonton, and staying up in Kelowna to do some stuff with amateur sports and things like that. But it's worked out quite well that it's going to be a little break in between. I'll take a couple of days off. I don't know about bringing the clubs, but I will definitely have a fishing rod in the back of the boat or the back of the truck.
No, take your scuba gear and go and teach some scuba at on Okanagan Lake there. Take you back to your old days.
Different than Cayman, my friend. Nice though. I love Kelowna. I love it.
Oh, I haven't been in years, but just when they were hosting that, I'm sure you guys will have some great scene setters. The camera guys will be out there, because when they were doing the Memorial Cup, it just looks amazing. So in July, are you here for that Thursday game? Would you do a Thursday? Okay, we'll get together that day as well. We'll have to chat and then get together with the Freeze Tallman guys maybe that day.
Well, Ed, I love it because I do remember 2 weeks ago a discussion on the NHL playoffs that.
Yeah. What do I owe you again?
Well, I'm just saying there was a dinner and Freeze Tallman, and there was some concern that I.
Yeah. No, I think it was. I owe you Western pizza and a couple of pints. Chalk it up. It's all. Hey, it's good. Maybe I'll just invite Luke, and I'll get mine from Luke at the same time.
There you go.
There you go. Thing. But you're
like going to Vegas. Like everyone that goes to Vegas, I broke even.
Yeah,
I love that.
Steven Seinfeld. But you're calling that. You're calling the game. You're watching that game. I take the over because I'm like, yeah, these two guys are going to sling it around the yard. They haven't played. It's their first weeks. Riders come out, and Harris, how he was. He had protection though, right? Like, yeah, he's going through the reads. He's slinging it, putting it in the right spots, but he had the protection, Glenn.
He absolutely did. And even when, to Trevor, again, give Trevor another pat on the back, is even when the Lions later in the game decided to send more pressure, in other words, at least one or maybe two defenders that weren't going to be blocked. There were just not enough in the offensive formation to block them all. So Trevor knew he would have a free hitter and got the ball out of his hands. A couple of those corner routes to Sam Emilus were full blitz from BC, and he saw it, recognized it, and got that through the corner route with precision. So, and those first two drives, I don't remember in recent memory, in the last 5 years anyway, two drives that efficient this early in the season. Back to back to open the game up 14-0, 2 touchdown drives. One, I think, was over 100 yards, and just tremendously efficient for this time. That's game one of a season, and often offenses take 3 or 4 weeks to get as coordinated as they look there. So just forget about the age. There's Zach Collaros he's 37. He threw for 420 yards in their loss. I mean, the quarterback play, as you guys have been talking about today, it's off the hook great. And I think back, Barney, to when we were coming out of the pandemic, which was a canceled season, and then there was the shortened season. And there was a bunch of analytics done by Randy Ambrosi at the time, the commissioner at the time. And he was saying and concerned that scoring had dropped and the average scoring per game had dropped and offensive touchdowns had dropped. And there was this real concern to a point where Randy was starting to talk about, I don't know if you remember this, but about, the XFL and, is there something we should be doing there? And there was all kinds of concern about that. And I remember thinking the quarterback play is not up to standard yet. I mean, right now, if you in either league have quarterback play the way we're seeing it in the first 2 weeks of the season, the game will look fantastic. I mean, especially for those who love offense and love scoring and the big touchdown throws and all that. When you have quarterback play like this, where guys are throwing 400 or 500 in games, and the receivers are making plays like they're making right now, I mean, this game just explodes off the chart, and that's the difference. So I just, anytime there's new analytics, look at how the quarterback play is and where they are in their careers. Are there veterans out there? And if they're young guys, are the young guys playing well? Like, who would you pick as a better player right now, Davis Alexander or Nathan Rourke? Both are young. Which guy is better? I mean, Davis hasn't lost a regular season game.
I would take Nathan. If you're asking me, I would take Nathan because I think he plays more games in the West, and the West is tougher.
Well, my concern with Davis would be that hamstring. Sometimes he gets up and he's limping back to the huddle, and I'm a little worried about that. Yeah. But anyway, it is just outstanding offensive game play right now and quarterback play.
Yeah.
And it's a tremendous start to the season because of it.
And Antoine Brooks Jr., 13 defensive tackles. Like I said, I was joking earlier. I don't know if you're listening. When my wife hears the fella say something on the radio, and she's like, "What?" She's like, "That's a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't even know that. That is a lot. Not the record. That's 16 and 17 in the league." But yeah, he had a day. Let's say, Glenn.
Yeah, and in fact, until I was listening today, I went back and checked the stats. I thought, wow, I in the game we didn't really notice, and I think it was because of the offensive excellence. I mean, when you saw the two quarterbacks kind of dueling it out, especially into the second quarter where Nathan Rourke started to get a little bit of momentum, you forget that there are great defensive plays being made all over the field too. And I didn't, with Brooks, I didn't mention it live on the air, which is a mistake. That's when you get up to 13 tackles, you're around the football. I mean, when you guys were talking about it earlier and asked the trivia question, I was thinking Solomon Elimimian for sure, or maybe Adam Bighill had the record for a single game. But it was Simone Lawrence. Simone Lawrence the guy?
Lawrence, 17.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of Rider fans don't like him. he hit Zach when Zach was a Rider, and that didn't go over well with Rider fans.
Yeah, I have the whole list. 17 is Simone Lawrence, did that on 2019, and then Reggie Hunt did it in 2003 with 16. And tied at Reggie 16 Hunt is Robertson Daniel in 2023. And then 15 was Calvin Tiggle, and then 15 for Solomon in 2017. Yeah. So close. It's close. 13 is almost there, almost in the same conversation.
There was that one that's counted where I think you played the highlight if you're watching the stream, where he just kind of touches the guy. He's down, which counts. You need a couple of those little freebies to get into the record books. Let's be honest, they're not all going to be
It's like
Glen Suitor across the middle.
It's like empty netters for Alexander Ovechkin.
Yes.
Hey?
Exactly. But when you put it in perspective, I don't, I'm guessing here, I'm thinking off the top of my head, but if you put it in perspective, it'd probably be like a 250-yard day for a receiver to have that many tackles in one game. And 13 tackles in one game would be, a 500-yard passing game for a quarterback. I mean, that you get into double figures, it's an unreal game. You get to 13, you get to 15, we're talking, record-setting stuff. So it's a lot.
Okay. Did you know, or do you know, what the fine is if you throw or kick a ball into the stands?
What the fine is? Yeah. Again, do we have to have a fine for that? Really?
I mean, I don't know. We're on a budget.
I don't know. Is it $50?
Pigskins around.
Is it $50? So you can't.
No, times 10.
Oh, come on.
500.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Can you get the Harris clip? Listen, hold on, Glenn, hold on. Listen to Trevor Harris. I didn't know this, but they wanted that ball back that Emilus punted into the crowd. Listen to the clip by Trevor today.
I wish we knew who it was. We should get him something. I'm saving Sam $500. Punting a ball into the stands is a $500 fine, and so I was trying to save him some money. And Ty and Gordy, people have no idea what goes into the ball prep that they do, the way that they prep those footballs. And so I was just hoping he would, and God love that fan. He tossed it right back down. It was good on him. I was really thankful he did. But yeah, just trying to save Sam some money. So maybe he should take me to dinner now.
That's great. It's just so silly. I mean, why are they doing that? Because they have to buy a new ball, or is it because it might hurt somebody? Because I've been to many hockey games and I've seen that puck fly across the stands. Sometimes I've been to many baseball games off a foul tip that go flying into the stands. Come on.
Yeah. No.
I mean,
I get. They
over governing.
They work the ball in, the throwing balls for sure. They take that slickness, that shine off. If anyone ever grabbed a new ball compared to what they're throwing, I get that for sure. Here's a marketing idea, because I kind of dabble in that. The league should just have a sponsor, and then a player's allowed to do it, and it's then right away. Ball into the stands, sponsored by Uramovic Sports Coats and Slacks or something.
I love it. And, seriously, it's a $500 fine, so you won't kick a ball in the stands because we work it so that the quarterbacks are happy. Like, I think we can work enough balls to that's gonna be quoted and pulled out on its own by I think we can get enough footballs that we don't have to worry about one going in the stands. Like, come on. That's over-governing. Don't get me started on over-governing.
Parity in the league. And again,
yes, sir.
I got a couple of buddies that they're like, they like to sprinkle, though, especially in Rider games. They like to go to Rider games, get after it a bit. But you look at the scores again. First off, speaking of sprinkling, it's an over world right now.
Yes.
We got 37-27, Hamilton and Winnipeg. Great game. There we go, 10 points. Then you got 37-30, Montreal, Toronto, and then 31-27, BC. I don't know, if you drop someone in on a spaceship from another planet and you say, look at this league, they're going to go, that's a pretty good league. I want to watch some of that.
Yeah, and last year it was over 67 or 68% that were finished or that were decided in the final 3 minutes. So it's sort of carried on from there. And yeah, scoring is up. It's almost at 60 points a game. So if you love scoring and touchdowns, you're seeing it. And we've talked about the quarterback play and how crisp and in sync these offenses look. The great talent at receiver, the Canadian talent is fantastic. But there's a couple things in the other games that jumped out to me. One was when in that Hamilton game, when Scott Milanovic, to ice the game, put Trey Ford on the field to run sort of option plays. And I thought, very interesting way to utilize his skill set.
Yeah.
Is to put him on the field to try and kill the clock, stay in bounds, but run that RPO type stuff without really the pass option. Just run a handoff that you're going to either give or take it or pull it, and you're going to go around the end, or you're going to give it to him and hit the hole. So I thought that was cool in that game. Toronto, Montreal, for those who think that I continue to just cheerlead for the league only, very interesting incident in that game that our cameras got the tail end of, but I think RDS got a bigger chunk of it, was when Chad Kelly and Mike Miller, their head coach, the new head coach, got into it a little bit on the sideline.
Ooh.
And it ended up being a little pushing back and forth kind of thing. And I did see Chad a couple of times. He threw for over 400 yards. So physically he's back, and he's always been a great thrower of the football. But there were a few times in that Argo game where receivers either dropped it or weren't in the right place, or throws were missed. And he was very animated to try and point out that the receiver was at fault, not him. And,
Yeah. That doesn't
in the
fly.
In the ultimate team game, Barney, I don't think that's going to go over well in their locker room, to be quite honest, and I don't care who it is. So that would be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah, it's like us here. Sometimes I say something too quick, don't give Curtis the cue, and he doesn't play it. That's on me. It's a team. We're team game here. Okay, and I want to leave you. We only got about 45 seconds. I don't know if you've been listening all day. World Cup, soccer. You don't have to be a soccer fan. What that Cape Verde did, tying Spain, amazing. 76th ranked team in the world, tying the number 2 ranked team. But did you hear Tunisia? They lost their first game at the World Cup 5-1 to Sweden. Okay?
Yeah.
And did you hear what they did?
No.
Fired their coach. Game 1. Game 1 of the tournament.
Come on.
See you later.
What? So and they lost that game 1-0?
They lost 5-1 to Sweden.
Oh, they lost 5-1 to Sweden. Okay. So they gave up 5 goals.
Yeah. Coaching position open.
That had to be building. That had to be building to a point where the governing body there said, let's see what happens in the World Cup, and maybe he can salvage this because we're ready to pull the
You go all the way there. You go through camp. Let's go, boys. Game 1. Hey, take a seat. We're moving on from you. Hopefully he got a flight back at least. He's on his own.
Yeah,
okay.
no, that's just silly. And I'm trying to get into this a little bit because of Vancouver, right? Like I know.
You got to get.
I'm 10 minutes from getting into a beer garden.
There you go. Now you can get that. You can get that hammock or that chair you want and sit down and guzzle a few. There you go. Okay, we'll catch up Thursday. Suits.
Okay, sounds good, Barney.
Yeah.
Talk later.
Press coverage, Glen Suitor, brought to you by Freeze, Tallman, Fort Capel, and Regina. If you need anything, lake, cabin, house, and you need it delivered, they can do it. More than a lumber yard. They got siding, they got doors, they got windows, they got fixtures, everything. Freeze, Tallman in Fort Capel and Regina. Okay, we're going to break, but before we go to break, do you want to win tickets to the next Rider game here in Regina? Not the one in Calgary. Here in Regina. Time to play SaskTel Pick the Score right now. 936-6262. You got to call in. There's also a toll-free number, 1-866-767-0620. If you haven't won anything in the last 30 days, don't cheat because we can look it up. Call now. We're going to get your score for the game on Saturday. You automatically get 2 tickets to the next Rider home game. And then the closest score of all of them throughout the week get a $200 SaskTel gift card. Call right now, SaskTel, pick the score. We'll go to break and be right back.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Thanks to Reg for calling in and playing Pick the Score. 26-14? You low score at a fair. Take Reg's figure in the under in Calgary. He's got 2 tickets to the next Rider home game. Riders quarterback Trevor Harris has been named CFL Week 2 Player of the Week. 30 of 36, 417-yard passes, 83% completion rating. Hockey news, sad news, 47-year-old former Regina Pat Kyle Calder passed away yesterday. Also played in the NHL with Chicago and Los Angeles. John Tortorella will not be back as Las Vegas Golden Knights coach next year. Western Canadian baseball in Regina. Berries are here to take on the Red Sox 7:05. Swift Current is in Moose Jaw, and Weyburn welcomes Medicine Hat. Blue Jays, Red Sox on the field right now in Boston. And then Argentina, Algeria, the defending champs, kick it off at the World Cup tonight. France beat Senegal earlier. And right now, Norway's up 3-1 on Iraq. SportsCage.com poll today. How much of soccer's World Cup will you be watching? Let us know at SportsCage.com. Ticker was 4. Steelcraft Doors in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, covering all Saskatchewan, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Steelcraft Doors. All right, we've been talking a lot today about this first ever World Cup match for Cape Verde, small island off Africa's west coast. We learned. They tied Spain 0-0. Spain's one of the favorites, like the second-ranked team in the world to win. Cape Verde has 500,000 people total. They tied them yesterday. You don't have to be a soccer fan. You know, well, who cares? It's the World Cup. Just when you put it into perspective, what they did. Talking to Arash Madani earlier, and he knows where this place is, like, cause they speak Portuguese. I learned that. Spain held the ball for 74% of the game. Unbelievable. And they have a 40-year-old goalkeeper who wasn't even part of the team, basically playing men's league. And he was in there playing against Spain. Yeah. And Tanzania fires their coach after their first game. They lose 5-1 to Sweden. Just love the storylines in the World Cup. Jalen Johnson, rider receiver, a little sit down with Dave Thomas coming up. We'll go to break. We'll be right back. It's the Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Curtis, good job today. Back tomorrow, Lee Cormish, who's trying to go to every World Cup stadium, is going to be in. Scott Schultz, Eric Francis, Ed Stanowski. As we send you off today, it's Dave Thomas, a one-on-one with rider receiver Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson, 594 days between your NFL debut to your CFL debut. Probably felt like a while, huh?
Yeah, no, it felt like a while. Something I've been waiting for, with the last year dealing with the injuries I've had, being out of ball for a little minute. Felt good to be back out there, be with the guys, and get a good team win.
Tell me about that time span, 594. You talked about the recuperation that your body had to go through, I'm assuming mentally as well, too.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a lot of, it's a tough process, It's ups and downs, it's good days, bad days, some days where you're questioning things, your journey, why me? Some days you're feeling sorry for yourself, but at the end of the day, you just got to have faith and keep working, put your head down, and next thing you know, I'm back on the field playing.
Tell me what it's like being back on the field. What are you learning about this Canadian football game?
The game's definitely fast, literally, like with the waggles and 35-second play clock and just the flow of the game, everyone was telling me, like, hey, like even the last 3 minutes of the game can be like a whole quarter just with all the stoppage, all the scores, and I was able to see that in the first game versus BC.
Obviously, you knew something about Saskatchewan when you signed to come to the Rough Riders, join training camp. Is this experience been what you thought it would be?
Yeah, it's been everything I thought and more. I'm really having a lot of fun. I'm enjoying myself. I love going to work with these guys. It's a great team, great group of coaches we got. So I'm getting better daily, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Take me through your first CFL regular season game. Of course, you made an impact in the preseason game, even returning some kicks. But getting in the flow with this offense, how was it like?
It was great. Just just with this such a high-powered offense with the guys like Trev, Keyshawn, Sam, Shafe, Dale. We've got a lot of talent on the offense. So I just want to come in, work, prove myself, and help the team any way I can, any role I can.
This may sound ridiculous, but at points during that game on Saturday, it seemed like the offense could do no wrong. Did you feel that?
I definitely say we definitely started off hot. It was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. When we're clicking, we're dangerous. I don't think there's a defense who wants to go against us when we're clicking on all cylinders. And, that third quarter we slowed down a little bit, but for the most part, we had a great day as offense. We left that game feeling great about the way everybody played. We had a lot of effort plays, chased the ball, all of our routes. We didn't have any MA, so that was good to see.
You're in year number 1 of your CFL career. Your quarterback is in year 14 of his. What was it like witnessing that piece of history?
It's great. Trev is really the standard just of how to carry yourself, how to be a pro. Like, he's always here. He's always doing the extra work. He's always getting extra treatment. He's got his own little routine he does even in meetings just to help his body. So, I'm always asking him questions like, what do you do for this? Who do you go see for this? And he's always one who's open to all questions, and he's trying to help all of us. And obviously when someone plays 14 years, that's not by accident. So he's obviously doing something right, and he's balling at a extremely high level as you saw on Saturday.
You mentioned missed assignments. How did you grade and analyze your own performance when you had a chance to go back and watch the film?
All my assignments, I was on top of all that. Of course, there's going to be things I can clean up. Like, I thought my drive phase could have been better, but I'm always going to be hard on myself no matter if I have 12 targets, 12 catches for 300 yards. I'm going to find something to get. And I think this week I'm going to work on just my drive phase, staying low on all my routes and out of my cuts and tightening down everything like that.
Is this week of preparation a little bit easier in the fact that last week maybe there was some unknown? What's this place going to look like when it's full? Now you're going to a place that we're familiar. We played in Calgary before in the preseason. Does that make it easier?
Yeah, I'd say it makes it easier mentally, just knowing that, okay, I know where we're going to stay at. I know what this visitor's locker room is like. I know where we're warming up at. I know what that turf is like, so that's it makes it easier. But no game is going to be easy physically or mentally. So obviously, I got to prepare myself and be ready to go against them and that talent they've got on that defense.
Here's to game number 1. Hopefully we're not waiting 594 days for number 2.
For sure. Hopefully never waiting that long again.